iPad Air 5, the best choice for drawing among the iPads for its price, if you use Procreate. Today, I'm gonna unbox the iPad and show you what's inside, and also tell you why I've decided to upgrade my old iPad 2018 to iPad Air 5. Spoiler, the simple answer is RAM. But let's start from the beginning, the unboxing. When you buy the iPad for drawing, you're absolutely obligated to get an Apple Pencil too. For iPad Air 5, you'll need a more pricey and fancy second-gen pencil. And I proceed to satisfying plastic removal. And not so satisfying and full of struggle, box lid removal. And back to satisfying removal of fancy plastic this time. The iPad Air 5 is available in several colors: space gray, rose gold, green, and sky blue. But I chose the gray one because I love gray iPads, and I'm gonna put it in the colorful case anyway. And all the iPads Air have a black border on the front, so you'll never see the actual color of the iPad anyway, as soon as you put it in cover. And I personally don't recommend the transparent covers, as they turn the dirty yellow color right away. Next, we have a box with a pack of paper and Apple stickers. And the charger plug with a cable. I bought my iPad in Malaysia, so that is why I have this super fun plug. I've played with it for quite some time. It clicks and snaps so cool. I usually use the European plugs for the context. The cable has USB-C connection on both of its sides. And that's it. I've been trying to pull this cardboard thing inside from the box, but it was glued to the box. Later though, I've managed to tear it from the box, as I just couldn't throw away such a nice box. And now I use it as a first aid travel kit box. Now, the pencil. I was really excited about the second-gen pencil as it charges right from the iPad, so I wouldn't need to charge it from the cable as I had to do with the first-gen pencil. Satisfying plastic removal. One more pack of paper with little instructions, and the pencil itself, which brings us to more plastic removal. I really loved how the pencil felt from the very beginning. It's a bit lighter than the first generation pencil, and the texture is a bit nicer, I think. To keep the iPad in nice condition, I also got the random cover for it. Interesting fact, it is the third country in Asia where they stick the paid label on everything you buy. I've never seen anything like it before. Here are the dangos I got that day, and they also have the same sticker. Okay, back to the unboxing. So this is a random cheap cover that cost around $10 and which turned out to be amazing. I wanted to use it as a temporary cover until I find a cool one or fancy or something. But it turned out to be so good, I don't want to change it, to be honest. This case has a nice place for the pencil, which is absolutely must-have. And for this iPad, I also got a travel adapter to be able to use it in other countries. As well as the case, it is the random adapter which was sold everywhere here. It also has a couple of USB holes in it and comes with a special little bag. After that, I've started to set up the iPad. I don't renew my tag often, so I was really surprised when the iPad Air asked me to bring the old iPad to it. And two iPads just felt each other immediately when I did just that. And then the magic happened. That was super cool. After that, the new iPad copied everything from the old iPad, including all the artworks from Procreate and even my brushes. And instantly it was ready to use for work. That's amazing, to be honest. I was expecting to spend several days for it. And the old iPad suggested to just wipe itself clean, which I did. So cool. And to connect the pencil to the iPad, I just allowed it to magnetically snap to the iPad, and that was it. It connected. I'm incredibly impressed how easy that was. So let's talk about this iPad from the artist's perspective. Storage. I took the iPad with the smallest storage because I upload all of my PSD files and speed painting videos to my Patreon every month as a reward, as well as to my computer, so I can easily clean up the files from Procreate regularly. That is why I don't need to have a huge amount of space there. And to be honest, I had an iPad 2018 with 32 gigabytes of storage, and it was enough for me for 4 years. But again, I've been using it only for drawing, so keep that in mind. Display. The iPad Air 5 comes with a 10.9-inch laminated display, which means there is no distance between the pen and your drawing when you're drawing. Unlike the regular iPad display, where you can have a thin layer of glass separating your pen from the artwork. In my opinion, it gives a bit more accuracy and control. I didn't expect that, to be honest, but precision is absolutely incredible. Better than regular iPad, as I feel. The pen always draws where I want it to draw, though the laminated display has its peculiar properties. Because the glass is kinda glued to the display itself or something like that, it actually bends a bit every time you press it with a pencil. It looks a bit scary. I feel like it's gonna break any second. But I've been using it non-stop for several months now, and it's still in perfect condition, but it still looks a bit scary if you pay attention to it. Pencil. And of course, the Apple Pencil 2 is really great. I absolutely love how it sticks to the iPad magnetically and that it charges from the iPad too. So why iPad Air 5 is the best iPad for drawing in Procreate? For now. The single reason why I'm upgrading my old iPad to iPad Air 5 is RAM. But why RAM? Well, let me explain. I've been using my iPad 2018 for over 4 years and Procreate as a drawing program. And the biggest issue I had with this tablet is the very limited amount of layers in Procreate. I usually use the canvas size A4 with 300 dpi, and it's great size if you want to print your artwork in the future. And the Procreate allows you to use only 19 layers with this size. Why? Because of the RAM. You see, the amount of layers in Procreate basically depends on the amount of RAM your iPad has. The more RAM your iPad has, the more layers you're gonna have in Procreate. And the 2018 version of iPad has only 2 gigabytes of RAM. So I desperately needed to upgrade my iPad as I went on never-ending travel and I've started using it all the time. And I use my iPad only for drawing, so I needed to choose the best iPad for art specifically. And for me, it's the iPad with the best value for money. So it all came down to the biggest amount of RAM for the least amount of dollars. To determine that, I've conducted a very specific research. I've made an Excel table with all the current iPads Apple has, with the cheapest version of each model, as I don't care about the storage here. I've put the prices in a table and the amount of RAM for each model. And with a simple mathematical formula, we have a price of 1 gigabyte of RAM in each iPad. Because it's basically the only important factor for us if we need an iPad specifically for drawing in Procreate. And here we have our winner, iPad Air 5. 1 gigabyte of RAM here costs only $75. And the most expensive gigabyte of RAM is an iPad Pro 12.9 inches. It is $137, which is almost twice more expensive. But of course, it turned out that this is not the perfect method, as I actually expected to have 4 times more layers, which is 76 layers, but I got 116 instead for my A4 resolution canvas with 300 dpi, which is 6 times more layers. And my cousin has 57 layers with 4 gigabytes on iPad Air 4, which is 3 times more instead of 2 times. So this is not the perfect method, I know, but at least I've been trying mathematically find the best iPad for drawing. Because the reviews I saw basically suggested buying the most expensive stuff there is. Just buy Pro version with 2 terabytes of storage and 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's gonna be perfect for drawing. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. I totally agree with that. But my wallet has a bit different opinion, you know? In general, I really love this iPad. I've been using it already for over 3 months and I don't regret this purchase at all. It feels like such an improvement from my old 2018 iPad. The only thing I highly suggest you to do is to get a cover for the screen for this tablet. Because the scratches will happen even if you use just a pencil, the tiny dust particles between the screen and pencil might be hard enough to scratch it to leave an impact. And because the screen is laminated display, not the glass one, the scratches are gonna be much more visible than if you would scratch the usual iPad. Just believe me. Again, I totally love this piece of tech. And my favorite thing about it is that it allows me to work in the comfort of my bed while eating some crunchy snacks and listening to some detective stories and the horrifying murder investigations. If you want to support me to do more of this kind of content and also to get access to all of my brushes, poses references and step-by-step tutorials, consider supporting me on Patreon.
Thank you for your patronage!
Thank you so much for watching, and here is the final result of Cyberpunk Princess Peach.